sports.
We are sports. We are Sun.
Last night, Evan Longoria set the tone early and finished with a season-high 5 runs batted in as the Rays took Game 1 of this series. Tonight, right-hander Chris Archer goes to the hill, looking to lead the Rays to a 4th consecutive victory. Tonight we greet you from Oriole Park at Camden Yards, just steps away from Baltimore's Inner Harbor for Game 2 of this 4-game series between the Rays and the Baltimore Orioles. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball. A beautiful night here in Baltimore with Brian Anderson doing stats. Great to have you aboard. Rays have won 3 in a row, and they've had a renewed offense. In particular, a couple of guys who they thought at the beginning of the year would help to lengthen this lineup. Well, they've done that recently, and Corey Dickerson and Steven Souza Jr.
The corner outfielders are swinging the bats, and they're swinging the bats in a big way. A lot of power, a lot of production. Let's start with Corey Dickerson. 9-game hitting streak, but let's talk about what he's done on the road trip. 14 out of 27. The average, 519, 6 extra base hits, 6 driven in, and right now he's covering the entire strike zone. We've seen him hit balls up around the letters all the way down to the ankles. Tough to get anything by him right now. And Steven Souza Jr. having a tremendous road trip himself. He's trying to simplify things. Early returns, very, very good. A 393 average. What they don't show you, the on-base percentage of 500. He is not expanding the zone. He's swinging at strikes, and when he's swinging the bat, they are decisive swings, and the numbers reflect that. Hopefully these guys can keep it going. Evan Longoria is swinging the bat well. His lineup scoring runs.
After dropping the first 3 games on this road trip, the Rays have now won 4 of their last 5. Including the first game of the series last night, 7-6. Game 2 just moments away. Back with the first pitch in a moment. A look inside Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Rays and the Orioles this year. The Rays 5-11 against Baltimore and winning last night by that 7-6 score, led by Evan Longoria's 5 runs batted in, including his 33rd home run. Let's take a look at the starting lineups presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Logan Forsythe leads it off, followed by Kevin Kiermaier and Evan Longoria hitting third. Brad Miller in the cleanup spot again, and in left field tonight, Corey Dickerson is the DH. Steven Souza Jr. hits 6, plays right field. Richie Schaefer in there at first. Alexi Ramirez at shortstop, and Bobby Wilson will do the catching.
Well, don't look now, but Evaldo Jimenez is throwing the ball very, very well for the Baltimore Orioles. Even outside of that start against the Rays, 2 starts ago for him. His last 4, record of 2-1, ERA 2.83. He's averaging over 7 innings a start and holding the opposition to an average of 160 in that span.
Well, he has stepped up when the Orioles have needed him most. And don't forget, the 32-year-old right-hander was a 19-game winner back in 2010 with Colorado. He had a great year there, 19-8, with a 288 earned run average pitching in that ballpark. So here he is tonight going up against the Rays. Logan Forsythe, the leadoff hitter, and the first pitch of this game is a strike call, so determined by Adrian Johnson, working the plate tonight. 19 home runs for Logan Forsythe. Quickly down in the count, 0-2. Baltimore starting the day tied for second with Toronto in the East, 2 back of Boston. A ball, 2 strikes.
Well, this is where you want to keep your eye on Evaldo Jimenez. That last start against the Rays, his only complete game of the season, gave up 2 hits, 3 runs. They all came in the first inning. That has been the trouble spot for Evaldo.
Down to third, picked up by Machado on the throw to first in time. Forsythe grounds out to start this one.
Let's take a look at that Baltimore defense and see how it's going to line up here tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in that outfield left to right, we have Hyun-Soo Kim, Adam Jones, and Michael Bourne. Across the infield third to first, Manny Machado, J.J. Hardy, Jonathan Scope, and Chris Davis. Matt Wieters behind the plate.
There's Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin scored 2 of the runs last night for the Rays. Shortens on the bat. Takes the pitch as it floats in too high. A breaking ball there from Jimenez to start this sequence of pitches to Kiermaier. And again, as he shortens, he takes the pitch upstairs. A 2-0 count.
And I'll tell you, when he shortens and squares around like that, the movement in the infield, you see all these guys twitching, getting ready to charge. He's got everybody's attention.
Ahead 3-0 in the count. Rays and the Orioles underway here. New York plays at Boston at Fenway. That's a strike. Kiermaier waiting for that call to be made by Johnson. And a high chopper just off the mid of Davis into short right. Kiermaier's going to dig for 2, and he's going to make it standing up. A Kevin Kiermaier double on a chopper just over the head of Davis at first, who actually got a mid on that ball.
Yeah, how many guys end up at second base on that? I mean, this is just par for the course. Little chopper here. Chris Davis, boy, everything he could do to get it off the glove, and Kiermaier off to the races. Not even a play to be made.
19th double on the year for Kiermaier. And just like that, the Rays have a first inning scoring opportunity. And here's Evan Longoria. He struck early last night with a 3-run first inning home run. The pitch is a strike. He jumped on the first pitch delivered from Gallardo in that at bat and hit it out to center. Pitch is low, and Wieters up out of the catching position there with a look towards second. One count. High fly ball. That ball is hit deep into left center field, and it's gone. That one on top the Baltimore bullpen shed out there, bounding into the Rays bullpen. Another first inning home run for Evan Longoria. A career high 34, and the Rays lead 2-0. He does it again. First time up tonight.
And what a blast. I mean, towering. Four-seamer. Here it comes. There it goes. That was majestic.
93 runs batted in now, with 34 home runs. Brad Miller taps it to the right side. Davis to Jimenez takes care of Miller for the second out of the inning.
You know, we brought up the point yesterday that of the 32 home runs that Evan Longoria had coming into this series, 17 of them had come in the 6th inning or later, you know, to either extend a lead or to get your team back in the game. Clutch type home runs. But I'll tell you what, these ones in the first inning, just as big, just as important, especially on the road. 3-run last night, 2-run tonight. Give your team that early lead.
Well, 34 ties Jose Canseco for a club record in home runs in a single season by a right-handed hitter. Canseco hit 34 in 1999. Evan Longoria with his 34th of the year here tonight. Corey Dickerson ahead in the count. A ball, no strikes. Carlos Pena hit 46, as you'll recall, in 2007. And then 39 in 09. Aubrey Huff hit 34 in 03. But as right-handed hitters go, Canseco and Longoria now 34.
I may have given one of those to Aubrey Huff. I had to start at Tropicana Field. I think he may have gotten it.
You're very cooperative.
Yeah,
we've come to find out.
I help out.
Yeah, you do.
I give him the home run. I walk away with the W. That's the way it goes.
See, when you cooperate, you win. Cut the miss. 2-2. It's the 15th home run given up by Jimenez this year. And the Rays have gotten him early. They put a 2 spot up. Strike 3 call. Dickerson doesn't like it. That's the 3rd out of the inning. A parting word or two with Adrian Johnson there. Rays get 2 on the home run by Evan Longoria. Bottom of the inning coming. Rays 2, Baltimore coming into bat. Baltimore starting lineup put together by Buck Showalter, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. It's Adam Jones leading it off, followed by Hyun Soo Kim hitting second and Manny Machado third. Chris Davis in the cleanup spot. Jonathan Scope at second. Pedro Alvarez the DH. Matt Wieters catching. J.J. Hardy hitting eighth at short. Michael Bourne in right field batting ninth. Trumbo not in there. The word back spasms have kept him out of the lineup. First pitch, Adam Jones takes the ball here, facing Chris Archer. Popped up third base side. Longoria waits for this one away.
Let's take a look at that Rays defense, see how it's going to line up behind Chris Archer here tonight. Brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. And in that outfield left to right, we have Brad Miller, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. across the infield third to first. Evan Longoria, Alexi Ramirez, Logan Forsythe, and Richie Schaefer with Bobby Wilson behind the plate.
Not the first time for Miller to be in left field. He played in 15 games last year with Seattle out there in left.
And here's the thing, Dwayne, with his career path right now, he'll be in the bullpen tomorrow night because he's gone from first base over to short, out to left. Any deeper, he's going to be a fan, maybe.
Well, we can't have that. Not with his 28 home runs.
No.
Got to be in that lineup. 1-1 to count. He played 15 games in the outfield and left for Seattle last year. Actually, 20 games in center. And a handful of games in right field for the Mariners. High, pop fly, short left, and Miller drops it. Well, Miller a little tentative and comes up short with the glove hand.
You know, that right there is just communication. Hasn't been out there in a long time. That's his ball the whole way, but I think he saw Alexi Ramirez drifting and drifting far, and nobody took charge here. Now he thinks maybe someone else is going to get it. Look how he's reaching, as if he expects someone to be right in his grill. Very tentative, and that all boils down to communication. You get guys that really are out of position at this point. Has played there before, but not in a long, long time. And that can happen.
So Kim is aboard on the error. And now here's Manny Machado. Pitch up and in. A ball and no strikes. Well, the one thing you don't want to have happen with Miller changing positions is that the defensive side of this game get into his head. And that's one of the issues. Even though he has been out there before, as we just mentioned. It's a foul ball back, 1-1. So the best thing could happen here is that Archer just closes out the first. You put that one behind you and forget about it.
Yeah, you know, it can be difficult. You know, we've seen Nick Franklin do it successfully this year. You know, Nick had played first, second, short, both corner outfield positions, had been taking balls in center. You know, he could play third if need be, but you know, that's a rarity.
Yep.
It's a rarity that someone can do that and have the defensive part of things look smooth for the most part. That right there wasn't, but that was all because of just lack of familiarity, and it hasn't been out in left field in a while.
Just down to Machado, 2-2. This has not been an easy place for Archer. He's 1-3 at Camden with a .641 earned run average here. Way up and in. Full count. It's a little tap, going to be a fair ball. Throw to second, safe. Forsythe tried to keep his foot on the bag as Wilson's throw started to sail.
And the Rays will be taking a look to see if he got it back. It definitely came unhinged from the bag. Was he able to get it back? Kevin Cash right now looking for the call. This ball topped literally right in front of home plate. And there's the throw with a little bit of sail, and he did get the foot back down, but didn't get the bag. It looked like it got right into the dirt right there as he reaches back. And Hyun-Soo Kim is able to slide in safely. So the Rays a little bit sloppy here defensively, and the Orioles 2 runners now.
Fielder's choice and an error charged to Wilson. 2 errors here on back-to-back hitters. And suddenly a major threat with Chris Davis stepping in. It's a threat anytime he's up there, and certainly with men on base. Strike one.
He's a guy too. If you go over his last 10 at-bats or so with Chris Archer, I think there's a home run sprinkled in there, a walk or 2, and all strikeouts. I mean, you don't even need fielders. Archer's been able to ring him up. You saw Colomé get him last night. The key is get ahead and get him to expand.
1-1 shift on form. Ramirez on the first base side of second. Longoria, the lone defender, on the left side.
You see Logan, a lot of times you'll see him pushed into the outfield. You got the double play in order here.
Ground ball. Forsythe goes to Ramirez, throw to first, got him, and the Rays get out of that on the double play. With the shift set up, the Rays turn a 4-6-3 double play, but not exactly a conventional 4-6-3. Second inning. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Steven Souza Jr. shoots it through the hole between short and third, swinging on the first pitch. And the Rays have a base runner.
Steven Souza Jr. has had a monster road trip, and he doesn't wait around here. First pitch breaking ball, and that ball hammered old 5-6 hole.
So man on to start this one. It brings up the first baseman Richie Schaefer. And a shot back into left. That ball is going to get out of here. Gone. First pitch, and Schaefer hits one out. And the Rays, just like that, have put up 2 more. Souza scores in front of Schaefer. It's 4-0 Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we saw Richie Schaefer a couple of his swings last night, how that front hip kind of leaks down the third base line. And he clears the hips here as Jimenez lets that fastball come right into the swing. Look at how it's just kind of running and tailing in as he opens up and lambaste that baseball.
Alexi Ramirez fouls it back.
That pitch just came in there flat, moved into the right area, and that was a rocket shot, no doubter, by Schaefer.
Well, the Rays, who have set a team record for home runs this year, the old record 199, they now have 203 home runs. Bourne in right field back to make the catch on this fly ball. Alexi Ramirez out of there for Schaefer, who hit 11 home runs this year at AAA. Comes up with his first of the year for the Rays. Bring up the Rays catcher Bobby Wilson. So the Rays playing long ball early. Two balls, no strikes. Two-one. Schaefer got his first big league home run last year. In fact, he hit 4 home runs in 31 games for the Rays last year. Wilson fouls this one back. Remember that first home run he hit in Chicago when everybody greeted him, gave him the silent treatment.
Still one of the best all-time reactions to the silent treatment as Richie high-fived a couple fake teammates. I think he gave somebody a hug. That was pretty good.
That was one of the best.
Yeah,
maybe the best we've ever seen when they give you the silent treatment in the dugout.
I think hands down. I think you're right. For as many times as we replayed it, it had to be that good.
So Wilson called out on strikes. Now the top of the order. Logan Forsythe. No ball, no strikes. There's a ground ball, base hit up the middle. So the Rays have collected 5 hits here in the early part of this game.
Talked in the pregame about how good Jimenez was last time out against the Rays. Everything on the corners, down in the zone. He elevated when he wanted to. Tonight, how many pitches already have been out over the heart of the plate? Not a lot of movement, more run and fading action than sink. Very hittable early on here. And you got to give the Rays credit for jumping all over it.
Evan Kiermaier takes one low. Kiermaier hustled his way into a double his first time up when he chopped it over the head of the leaping first baseman Chris Davis into short right. Kiermaier wound up at second, chops it within reach this time of Davis, who makes the play unassisted. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Rays. The runs coming on the home run by Richie Schaefer. 4-0 Tampa Bay. Defenders third and first so far tonight. They take this lead into the bottom of the second inning, 4-0. Jonathan Scope takes the pitch wide. Rays committed 2 errors behind Archer in the first inning, but he still managed to get out of that inning, throwing fewer pitches than he has averaged per inning this year. He made 14 pitches in the first. Despite the errors, he's averaged 17 pitches per inning.
Well, you got to credit, maintaining focus, not letting that get to you. Some pitchers back-to-back errors, and you wonder where their head's at, where the pitches are going to be. Nasty slider right there, but able to come back. Beneficiary of a double play ball, that always helps.
He's ahead of Scope, who's had some success against Archer. It's a ball and 2-strike count. Buick GMC big matchup, 5 of 13 with 2 home runs off Archer. Lifts this one into right. Souza Jr. making the call and the catch. 1 away.
One thing you wonder about with this Oriole lineup is they try to climb back into this game. Very aggressive already. Will they become even more so facing a 4-run deficit? The deficit in last night's game, they were able to erase pretty quickly because of, command issues that Blake Snell had. But if Chris Archer can continue to pitch his game, this team liable to expand that zone and really allow him to have his way.
Alvarez. 1 strike to him. The ball and a strike. (2-1) Alvarez at .252 with 20 home runs, and his bat has come alive in recent times for the Orioles. 2. Home runs, and 17 of those have come since the early part of June. There's a shot deep into right center. Souza runs out of room, and Alvarez picks up home run number 21. It's his second career home run off Archer. Well, that's how quickly the Orioles can score runs. They've hit 233 home runs now.
This one right here will show you how strong Pedro Alvarez's wrists, forearms, and hands are. He takes this slider right here as it's working its way down. Look, he's a little bit out in front, and he just flicks that ball, okay? One thing if it's just a home run, but look how deep he hit that with a flick of the wrist. That's some strong forearms right there, my friends.
'27th home run given up by Archer. Wieters lifts it into center. Here comes Kiermaier. 2 outs.
Yeah, that's by far and away the most that Chris Archer has given up in a single season. 27 now. You go back to 2014, he gave up 12 in 194 2/3 innings, and a season ago 19 in 212 innings. A lot of these home runs had to do with command issues, especially the first half of the season.
J.J. Hardy. Ball 1. Hardy at .266. He's hit 9 home runs. Too high, 2-0. Base hit, drilled through the hole. Hardy makes the turn at first. 2-out base hit.
J.J. Hardy, very strong, very level swing. Keeps that bat in the zone for a long time. You see him sweep those balls like that frequently. And he just hammers that. Evan Longoria just watching it go by. Ball hit hard.
Michael Bourne, which is a strike to him. You know, you look at Hardy over at first base with that single. Comes in, he's hitting in the mid-260s. Not a flashy shortstop, but he's a tough guy. He's a competitor. And the way he goes about playing the game and applying his ability means a lot to a ball club. It sets an atmosphere among the players in the clubhouse.
You just described a Buck Showalter guy. That's why he loves J.J. Hardy, for what the reasons you just laid out. You think he ever has to worry about Hardy being prepared for a game?
Not one day. And because Hardy's on the team, probably a few other guys that he doesn't have to worry about if they're prepared. Because the players, if it's done properly, will police themselves.
Yeah, and there's more than just Hardy. And you're right, they run a tight ship in that clubhouse, keep everything in line.
Michael Bourne out on strikes. Run scores on the Alvarez homer. Rays lead 4-1. Got an inside look here as we go to the third inning. Evan Longoria, most home runs season by season, 34 this year, with that home run in the first inning, his career high. And he takes a ball. Big night last night, a first inning home run and 5 runs batted in. A homer and a couple of ribbies tonight. He pops it up into short right. Michael Bourne is there. One gone in the third. And here's Brad Miller. Grounded out to Davis at first, with Jimenez covering his first time up. Takes a big cut and misses. 2. Jimenez, a 12-game winner last year. He was 12-10 with a .411 earned run average. And there is strike 3 on that outside corner. Started wide and broke that one over.
You know, you go back to the last 2 pitches. He started the previous pitch in and ran it to the inside corner. He starts this wide, like you said, and cuts it, slides it right over to the outside corner. A couple of nasty pitches there by Jimenez, and we've seen this before from him. Early struggles, and then all of a sudden he starts, you know, to get dialed in a little bit. Unfortunately, right now, down 3 runs in the 3rd inning.
There's Corey Dickerson. He takes a big cut. Wow, strike 1.
Well, you know, there were pitchers back in the day. You take a swing like that against them, you're going to be on first base after this next pitch with sore ribs.
You're either going to be on first base or you're going to pick yourself up out of the dirt in the batter's box.
That's right. That is a cut.
One. Dickerson has never had a hit against Jimenez. He's 0 for 6 off him. Looking to end the 1st inning. Pops it up. Jimenez after this one in foul territory, and he makes the catch. 1, 2, 3, go the Rays. It's 4-1 Tampa Bay. Fox Sports Sun brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By Furman. Shop Furman Chevy Tampa.com today. By Bank of America. Life's better when we're connected. And by Toyota. Let's go places. We go back to the top of the Baltimore lineup. Here's Adam Jones. He popped to third his first time. Jones, Kim, and Machado due up. This pitch is a strike at the knees. One and one. Four road trips so far. Archer 3 for 30. The matchup Jones against Archer. Archer's delivery Liner into left center field. Kiermaier, a long run to make the pickup, gets the ball back into the infield, and they're going to hold Jones to a single. I thought there was no way they could hold him to a single.
Adam Jones didn't get out of the box very well. He did not have that burst of speed, not until he got close to first baseman and was aggressive with the round. But you're right, off the bat, this should have been a double. You know, Kevin Kiermaier is out there shading right center field. Look how far he's got to go. We've seen this a lot from him. He just more important for him to get the ball back in the infield than anything else. And Jones right here will start to pick it up right here as he makes the turn and thinks about it. But you can credit Kevin Kiermaier with that play. Those are the plays, Dwayne, that when you start talking about Gold Glove and what kind of defender he is, he didn't do anything there that is going to get him, you know, a put out, an assist, anything like that. But what he did do is kept the man out of scoring position because of the way he attacked the baseball.
And he does that regularly.
I mean,
that's routine for him.
It is. And it's stuff that if you aren't fortunate like we are to see it day in and day out, it goes unnoticed. Sure, you see the highlight reel plays. There's no doubt about it. The great arm. But those are the quiet behind-the-scenes type plays that are so important to this team.
Yeah, what you see from him is not only talent, but effort.
How many outfielders go after a ball?
It's hard to imagine that you could count. Well, you just don't see them.
They concede the double.
He challenges everything on both sides of the baseball. 2-2 now to Kim.
And, you know, looking back at Jones getting out of the box, he actually got out of the box better, you know, when you watch the replay, than I thought he did initially. And I think that was more about Kiermaier than it was Jones.
Down to third. Longoria to second one, and that's Alexi Ramirez in the middle of that one with the defense deployed the way it was. So that's a 5-6-3 double play.
And Evan Longoria did not hesitate. He knew that Ramirez would be there. You know, new to the team. You know, they're in an odd defensive formation. And watch Evan as he gets this. He doesn't even hesitate. Gets, turns, throws. Someone had better be there. It was Ramirez. Well done. Another reason why the play by Kiermaier is so important.
Absolutely. Now you have the bases empty, 2 gone to face this guy, Manny Machado. It's out of play, a foul ball, strike 1. Trying to hold up on the high fastball. A 0-2 count. Just missed there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A hit and a double play ball. Rays have turned a couple double plays in this game. Archer starting the night with 8 wins and 18 losses and a 4.05 earned run average, making his 31st start. And he against Machado there on the slider. We go to the 4th, 4-1 Tampa Bay.
Nick Franklin you're looking at as the Rays lead at 4-1. Franklin injured himself last night, making a play at first base to complete an inning-ending double play. He said first time ever he's dealt with a hamstring issue. Here it is, guys. As Evan Longoria turns it to Logan Forsythe, the return, a nice pick by Nick Franklin, but that left heel just kind of slid out on him and caused a little hamstring strain. So he had it looked at today by the talented Rays training staff, and basically he's day-to-day. He hopes to get in there sometime. Probably not in this series, but we'll see how it plays out. Just in case he's not able to go, though, the Rays add a left-handed bat to their bench in Jeff Decker. But Nick Franklin injures that hamstring, and they're hoping to see him a little bit later on during this season. He hopes to play the last week or week and a half. He was an impromptu guest on the Rays Live pregame show, in case you missed it. Back to you.
Yeah, I saw him walk by and make a cameo appearance.
He stopped by the set.
Yep.
It was great. It was like Seinfeld. It would just get Nick, come on in.
Yep.
We'll ask you a few questions, engage you a little bit. It was actually it turned out to be a pretty nice little visit, because you were thinking maybe that hamstring, maybe he's done for the season.
Yep.
And he's saying, hey, listen, I got a good chance of coming back, and that'd be great news for the Rays, because he's shown some value and some versatility for this team.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because as we mentioned the other night, he's taken some fly balls in center field, and there was talk about him playing out there. We'll see if this has any effect on that, because he's been willing to pick up a glove and go anywhere defensively. Souza Jr. is out on strikes. First out here in the fourth.
Hey, and I'm going to get to do the pregame show again on Sunday.
Yep.
And so we're putting feelers out there for any kind of guests that we could get for that day, too.
Okay.
Just to have them right on the set.
You know,
maybe Dwayne, you could roam around and you could pull you on there, or Jim Palmer.
Yeah, well, we got a little thing going there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You've got your little. Oh man, you're going to get your own show.
There's Jim Palmer
There
right
he
there.
is. Look at that.
Yep. I wonder if he helped to, supervise that statue out there.
We know Jim. Jim Palmer comes in here. We give him a hard time every once in a while. We get a word in, and it's tremendous. But I will tell you this: knowing him, he stood in. He modeled for that. Like, he got into his delivery and held it there as that thing was etched away.
Yeah, he has that kind of willpower.
Look at it. He's got Buck right over his right shoulder.
Yep. Well, somebody should be over his right shoulder. Buck seems to be the guy.
Yeah. No, he did. He modeled for that. That was a long day.
Deep short, backhanded by Hardy. Throw to first. Out over there. Davis stretching out toward right field. Schaefer's the second out.
You know what's interesting about J.J. Hardy, too, is he gives you enough arm to make the play as needed. You know, a routine play, you're saying to yourself, this guy's arm's not very strong. Ooh, go in the hole, got to rip it over there. Well, okay, yeah, no, he does have a strong arm, but he gives you just enough to get the play made.
So Alexi Ramirez popping up that first pitch, foul ball. Wieters just out of room on the other side of the screen. Out of play, and that's strike one. Well, when you go to evaluate shortstops, sure, everybody wants Ozzie Smith at shortstop, but how about the guy who makes every play?
Yeah.
You want that. Now, if you get Ozzie Smith and you get that, once in a generation, you'll take the guy who makes every play he's supposed to make. And sometimes you'll get a little extra. And then he gives you that and more on this team, Hardy.
It's all about the and more.
Yeah.
When you can say that at the end of a sentence, you win.
Yeah.
You win that sentence.
Yeah. Because you could go on and on and on about and more. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count on Ramirez. Yeah, 2 games left here. And we'll be more involved in the pre and post game Sunday, as we have been and will be tonight.
Oh, that's right. Post game tonight.
Yeah.
Lots of sound.
Let's not get carried away.
Really excited about that.
2-2 the count to Alexi Ramirez. Foul ball outside of third. It'll be interesting to see what the Rays do in regard to Alexei Ramirez. Padres let him go. Hit 240 over there, 5 home runs, play shortstop. We've seen the professionalism he brings at shortstop. And he came in and said, I'll play anywhere. And he could play anywhere. Ground ball. Hardy up with this one. Throws a strike. 1-2-3. Go the Rays. 4-1 Rays. Bottom of the fourth coming up. Today's Geico great moment on this day in 2013. Rays clinched their 6th consecutive winning season, marking just the 3rd time a team achieved 6 straight winning seasons following 10 straight losing years in MLB history. Alex Cobb picked up the victory, covering 8 innings. Will Myers drove in 3 as the Rays defeated Texas 6-2. To chat on the air last night with Alex Cobb. Chris Davis takes the pitch down, 1-0. You start to get a feel just in that exchange on the telecast last night what he brings to this team beyond throwing strikes and getting outs. Davis fouls it back. It's 1-1.
Yeah, the thing that strikes me is it was a long road back for Alex Cobb. And we've already talked about 700 plus days and all. It was 705 days when he made that first start. But how much he expects out of himself already.
Yep.
You know, probably deep down understands you're just not going to roll out of bed after coming back from Tommy John, having that much time off, and be at the top of your game. But he certainly expects to be when he takes the mound in the big leagues. And he talks about, yeah, this pitch I'm happy with, curveball I'm happy with, but the changeup not where I want it yet, and you know, maybe some decision making I'm not a big fan of, or a mislocation. I mean, the accountability and you know, the level of which, you know, he holds himself to is so impressive.
Yeah, he will hold himself accountable and not run away from that. And the interesting thing about that, he's not a guy who's going to walk into a room and say, look at me. He's a guy who's going to walk into the room, and we've seen pitchers who are now drawn to him since he's been back. His presence means something naturally. Fly ball deep to left. This one is going to get out. A 3-2 pitch. Chris Davis hits his 38th home run of the year, and that makes it 4-2.
Well, he's got that kind of power, foul pole to foul pole, and he got a hanging breaking ball. Chris Archer trying to throw this slider for a strike, leading off this bottom of the 4th inning. And it just stays in the zone, stays up, and boy, does he unload. stays right down and through that ball. See ya.
He has 6 career hits off Archer. 3 have been home runs. 6 for 21 against the Rays right-hander. Jonathan Scope takes a look at that. 1 strike. Scope's another guy with good numbers against Archer. Coming in 5 of 13 with a couple home runs. The Rays right-hander up in the count on him here, 0-2. Chop to third. Longoria makes the play. First out in the bottom of the 4th. $2 Kid Ticket Tuesdays presented by Morgan Auto Group returns Tuesday when the Rays take on the Yankees. All kids 14 and under get $2 tickets with the purchase of a full price paid adult ticket. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit raysbaseball.com/specials. Pedro Alvarez swinging and missing. He hit the home run off the slider in the 2nd inning. Right there, Forsythe, the Rays' 2nd baseman, takes care of that ground ball. 2 outs following the homer.
That almost took a hop by Logan to the glove side. As he moved to his right, that ball came back to the left. I think he's right there. That's why he's shaking his head right there. Didn't feel too good coming in there. A little awkwardly, but a nice play nonetheless. By the way, I went in between innings and talked to.
I noticed you left the booth, and I knew what you were doing.
Yeah, I went over to ask Jim about the statue.
And yes.
And he did. He said, yes, I posed and modeled for that, and I also modeled some underwear too. And he sent me on my way. You remember those days.
Oh, yeah.
And they showed me a picture too. Remember we talked about some things you just can't unsee?
That's it.
That's one of them.
There you go. Yeah, he's fun. We'll have a little chat with him later this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Must see TV.
1 the count on Matt Wieters. 1-1.
The exchange that you and Jim had, was it at the end of last year or earlier this year, was still the greatest exchange I ever got to see, because Jim will come in and ask you or I a question, and we start with our answer, and then he tells us the answer. And he came in and asked you something, and you started to answer, and then he started to tell you whatever it was, and you didn't stop talking, he didn't stop talking to each other, and I got to just sit there and watch it happen, and you're talking away, and he's talking away. It was the greatest thing I've seen.
You got the answer in stereo.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. That was a question that required 2 answers.
It was so great, though, that you just kept powering through.
This one is down 3-2. Yeah, he's great. He's a lot of fun. A little tapper foul. Davis is homered to open the bottom of the inning. Couple of ground balls since then from Scope and Alvarez.
By the way, their booth over there, it's quite the operation.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I walked in, they tried to charge me a cover. I'm like, I'm just going to, it's just for a minute. You know, I'm not going to stay. And there's got a whole operation going on over there.
I don't know how you got past the velvet rope.
Yeah, no kidding. That's what I mean. And didn't pay the cover.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a walk to Wieters with 2 gone. With the runner at first, here's J.J. Hardy. Pitch is a strike at the knees. You know, if you come to our place to visit again, off season, you know, just for an evening,
pop in.
Yeah, you can pop in, and there's no charge, and we'll let you through the velvet rope there too.
You got a velvet rope in the house?
We do, yeah, we just got one. Ramirez takes care of this pop-up. So at the end of 4, it's 4-2 Tampa Bay. In Baltimore tonight, Rays close out their home schedule against the Red Sox. That'll be Sunday the 25th, and the children can take home a Rays mascot. All kids 14 and under receive their very own DJ Kitty toothbrush holder presented by United Concordia Dental. While supplies last, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Bobby Wilson in there leading it off, fouling that pitch, and so he's down in the count 0-2. Wilson followed by the top of the order, Logan Forsythe and Kevin Kiermaier. Well, the Rays jumped to an early lead. 2-run homer in the first by Evan Longoria and a 2-run home run by Richie Schaefer. And the Orioles have cut into that lead with single runs in the second and fourth. There's a little broken bat roller in the middle of the infield. Hardy picks it up, and the throw to first in time to get Wilson. Well, catchers generally not the fleetest of foot, and Wilson giving it a great effort, but Hardy got that ball over there just ahead of his arrival.
Yeah, Bobby Wilson, I think that broke his bat, just kind of went out there in no man's land, but J.J. Hardy once again making a play. Watch how this ball just kind of dies, runs in. Yeah, you see a piece of that bat going out there. Now J.J.'s got to charge it, glove, throw. Got him by a step, half a step. And Dwayne, you're right. You'd like to see this Rays offense. You start to get something going here because this is tightened up a little bit too much. Jimenez has settled in. You got all that power to worry about on the other side.
Two balls, no strikes. One. Ground ball, shortstop. Hardy's throw there again. 2 gone. Kevin Kiermaier. Base is empty here. Foul back. Jimenez with the ground ball rate approaching 50%, 48%. He's throwing a few ground balls now. That's 4 consecutive assists for J.J. Hardy at short.
Doing a better job of getting out in front. You know, early in the game, think about those home run balls, and he just was not able to finish pitches. And so instead of having that late movement down, they were kind of staying flat and up a little bit. Rays took advantage. Now he's starting to get the ball with a little bit more, you know, top to bottom action, and then the sinking action on top of it. And see them going upstairs when he wants to.
Yep, he strikes out Kiermaier. 1, 2, 3, go the Rays for the 3rd straight inning. 4-2 Tampa Bay. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. The news out of the north side of Chicago. Joe Madden and the Cubs here this year. Fewest games to clinch a division title since the Angels in 2008. There's a bunt to open the bottom of the 5th. Longoria, nice play to retire Michael Bourne. Bourne trying to bunt his way on to start the inning.
Yeah, and Evans sniffed that out quick. Watch him already there, reads it, and now collapses. That's a heck of a play by the Rays' third baseman. You know, that's some of that. You know, we talk about the intangibles. You know, being able to make the plays one thing, but the feel for the position. You know, positioned in on the grass, you start to sense it, you start to lean forward, all of a sudden the square around, and you're right on top of it. That play never had a chance.
You know, that's a great point. Great players, above average players, have a sense of the game in those situations. I think that's a great point to make. And I haven't done a statistical breakout on this, but I think there's a feeling that today there are fewer players who have that sense than in the recent past. And I think that's a great example of one of the situations where that means so much right there.
You know, that should, you know, just in conversations with some of the other, you know, play-by-play guys and analysts around the league, when we get to chit-chatting about the game itself and the game now, how different it is in certain areas, and you know, the trends of the game, and that always seems to come up. It seems to be that you know, players can be more robotic in this era right now. That there isn't that same flow, that same feel for the game as, you know, in the past. I mean, you know, that's just stuff, like I said, it comes up in conversation, and you think about it, and you're like, well, there's some areas I feel that's legit, and maybe some other areas maybe not.
Well, and I think that's true whether you're talking about, in this case, a defender who's born leading off, that goes through your head.
Yeah.
It doesn't go through everybody's head.
No.
So whether you're a defender, whether you're a hitter or a pitcher or a catcher, or anywhere I'm defending, and a catcher calling games and all that, pitchers getting a feel, I'm sure you got a feel as a pitcher in certain situations as to what a hitter might be thinking and what you do to counteract that.
Yeah, there are times, well, you know, it goes back to some of the pitchers that we've seen and sequencing that we've seen, that you're thinking, okay, you know, you're throwing fastballs, this guy's a day late on. He doesn't have a chance on that pitch. You can put it in a better spot and he's going to swing right through it because he cannot catch up to it. But instead, you go with something off speed out over the plate that plays right into his swing. You know, you're just not reading the hitter. You see that a lot more now.
Schaefer makes the play on that roller off the bat of Adam Jones.
Or adjustments not being made. You know how many times you talk about, you know, 2 or 3 pitches in the same area and then you typically get out of there. Yeah. We'll see a guy throw, we've seen Jake Odorizzi do it. He'll go to one area and throw 5, 6, 7 straight fastballs, and that hitter can do nothing about it. You never used to see that. They would either be able to take it for a ball, or they would make an adjustment with their swing to be able to get to it and drive it or put it in play. It doesn't happen.
Kim, a ground ball, and that's out of the reach of Ramirez through the opposite side. Base hit into left for Kim. 2-out single. The 5th hit of the game given up by Archer, and it will get Machado to the plate.
You know, we start to evaluate pitchers at the major league level now. The one thing I think that we can universally agree on is the stuff, the pure stuff in the game right now is unprecedented. Guys throw harder. The breaking stuff is ridiculous. I mean, the stuff is absurd. I think pitchability has regressed a little bit. And I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of guys haven't really had to learn how to pitch yet, because they can just outstuff you. Yep. They haven't had to learn how to sequence because they just rear back and they give you the 97 or the nasty slider, and even if it's the wrong pitch, it ends up getting the right result.
2-0. You get the right result for a while.
That's the key. When your stuff starts to go south and you're still trying those sequences, you start backing up lots of bases. Because if the stuff is not there, the sequences were wrong from the beginning.
Fly ball. Kiermaier under it in center field. That takes care of Baltimore, hitting the man left. On to inning 6. It's 4-2 Tampa Bay. On Fox Sports Sun, brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by your Southern Chevy dealers. We're in Baltimore tonight. Game 2 of this 4-game series. Rays and the Orioles. Evan Longoria leading off the 6th. First pitch gets in there for a strike. Toyota keys to success, and Evan Longoria in the top 5 in the American League in extra base hits. Little number. Jimenez tries to backhand, picks it up, and the throw to first is not going to be in time. Gary Cederstrom on the call over there. Well, Jimenez tried a backhanded pickup and could not do it cleanly.
This is why you always hustle. Don't assume anything. Okay, look, it looks like a dribbler back to the pitcher, but Evan was going hard the whole way. And because of that, he's able to beat it out and a base runner. That's why when we talk about giving effort, you know, through how many at-bats are you going to get a night? 3, 4, 5? You got to be able to hustle. Your manager's got to be able to count on you hustling every time you get the opportunity. It just got them a base runner with Evan Longoria going hard up the line.
Miller fouls it back. Well, they're going to give Evan a single on that.
And get a hit to boot.
Yep. Too low, blocked by Wieters. Brad Miller starting in left field tonight. Played out there in 15 games last year for the Mariners. He was tested in the very first inning on the second hitter in the bottom of the first when Kim looked at that fly ball, and Miller came up just short, charged with an error, failing to catch the ball. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and the throw down is in time. Wow, Longoria caught stealing.
Ubaldo Jimenez had given up 24 stolen bases in 27 attempts. You picked the right pitch to run on here, but Matt Wieters coming out of his crouch off speed, and look at this throw. He laid it right there. J.J. Hardy just caught the ball and left the glove there, and Evans slid into it.
Ball 3 to Miller. He's trying to force the issue, getting a base runner for the first time since Forsythe's second inning single. Trying to get a man into scoring position. They lose him on the caught stealing, and Miller strikes out. 2 gone. Jimenez had retired 10 in a row before Longoria reached. And now a strikeout of Miller.
Got away with one there.
Two outs, bases empty. It's Corey Dickerson. Fouls that one right into the Baltimore dugout. Rays scored 2 runs in the first on the Longoria home run. 2 more in the second on the Schaefer home run. Single home runs by Alvarez and Davis have accounted for the Baltimore runs. 2 strikes the count on Dickerson. will be a foul ball and out of play. Home run season for Dickerson. Inside 1-2. Dickerson hit 24 home runs for Colorado 2 years ago in 2014. Hit 312 that year. Pitch floats high. 2-2. She's a junior on deck. Dickerson out in front, strikes out. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Bottom of inning 6 coming. 4-2 Rays.
Of the 6th inning, we have a very special guest with us here in Baltimore. Joel Peralta with me up here watching a little Rays baseball against the O's. First of all, Joel, welcome and tell us, I know you started the year with Seattle, you pitched for the Cubs. Where are things with you right now?
Well, right now I'm about, almost a retirement.
Almost retirement.
Almost retirement. I think it's a done deal, after 12 big league season, I think I'm ready to go home and, hang out the cleats and relax.
12 big league seasons, 4 of them with the Tampa Bay Rays. In those 4 seasons, you pitched 296 games. Second all-time in franchise history, just one behind Jake McGee. Is that where you feel like a big part of your heart is those 4 years with the Rays?
Well, my best years, in baseball, the most fun year was definitely in the Rays uniform, and that's why I love that team so much. And being here, watching Archer and the guys play, is a thrill.
You probably don't miss facing guys like Chris Davis at the plate right now for the Orioles. This is now the 6th inning, Rays leading 4-2. If you were in the bullpen now, what's the mindset? Do you start trying to think ahead as to when the manager is going to use you? Are you studying every at-bat more intently as the game goes along?
Yeah, that was in my game plan every time I go there. When knowing Joe, I know probably be in the 7th inning with probably lefties like Davis was coming to the plate. So since the 5th inning and on, you start to try to be batter by batter to see what they're missing, what they're hitting or not. So that's when you start getting more into the game.
They get a swing there as Archer picks up the strikeout of Chris Davis. I know you had a chance to meet with the guys both last night at the hotel and today before the game. Good to catch up with the group?
Oh, definitely, man. I got invited here to a birthday party with my friend JD behind me. And when I find out that it was against the Rays, I was like, don't deal. I was in Dominican in my house. And when I knew I was against the Rays, I didn't miss this for the wall. So big part of the why I'm here is because the Rays are in town.
I guess the next best thing to finishing out, if it is over, your career with the Rays was you got to spend your final few games at the big league level with Joe Madden.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, the best in business. Joe is, to me, the greatest manager that ever played for. I think he's the best in the game right now. And I really wish him luck. You know, I hope they go all the way.
So what happens? We don't know yet. You're not officially retired, but close. No more Gigantes in the Winter League at the Dominican. No more. We're still not sure, but close to retire.
Well, I think I'm not gonna play here anymore. You know, I don't think because my age and last 2 seasons I've been getting hurt, and my knee is the problem right now. Which my arm is good. The knee is the biggest problem. Was now I'm not getting, you know, running or doing conditioning and stuff like that to be ready to be in shape to play the game. But I want to play a couple games in the Winter Bowl League, so the Dominican fans, you know, I can play for them at least a couple games and then retire.
Well, Joel, it was a pleasure watching you those 4 years with the Rays and your whole major league career. You got a lot out of this game. This game got a lot out of you. I know the Rays used you extensively for those 4 years. Great to see you again. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Hey, it was great to be here. We're great to be with you guys. Hi to everybody, and thanks for the support for 4 years in Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, my best years of my career was in Tampa, so I definitely love the Rays.
All right, guys, Alexi Ramirez will make this play for the second out. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much. 2 gone here in the 6th. It was fun to see him. Walked into the lobby last night, and there he was. He was waiting for a couple more of the Rays to come by and greet them and spend some time reminiscing. I tell you, he was not afraid to take the baseball, and he earned a lot of respect for the work he did out of the Rays bullpen. Joel Peralta.
That was his #1 attribute. I mean, you could count on him night in and night out. And like he said, his best years, not only could you count on him, and not only would he take the ball in any situation, but more times than not, many more times than not, he got the desired results. He got the job done. He was a guy that you could lean on and count on in tough situations.
There was a guy who was cunning and who could think on the mound about how you get a hitter out.
Yeah.
He could think on his feet.
Yep.
That's one of the things that made him so much fun. He wasn't afraid. He'd take the ball, as you point out, anytime, anywhere, and then he'd try to figure out how to get hitters out. 2-1 to count to Alvarez, who homered in the 2nd. A 4-2 ball game. Home runs accounting for all of the runs. A couple of 2-run homers and a couple solo shots. Now it's 2-2. Archer working in the 6th inning. About to make his 90th pitch of the night. And the count goes full. Strikeout, a ground out. Now the 3-2. Alvarez swings and he misses. Missed the slider. 1-2-3. Go the Orioles. On to the 7th, 4-2 Rays. Seventh inning tonight. Cold hard facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. Rays with a couple of more home runs tonight. They hit the 200 mark in their series against the Blue Jays on Wednesday when Corey Dickerson connected for home run number 200, and they've added 3 since. So the Rays with 203, including these 2 tonight. Steven Souza Jr. here in the 7th inning to lead off. Then Richie Schaefer and Alexi Ramirez. Ubaldo Jimenez, right-hander out of the Dominican Republic. The first pitch is a strike. Rays got to him for those 4 runs over the first 2 innings. But then he had a stretch of 10 in a row retired before Longoria reached on a ball that Jimenez sort of mishandled. Ground ball short off the glove of Hardy. Throw to first. That's not going to be in time. And Souza is aboard to begin the 7th. An error charged to Hardy. That's only the 5th error of the year charged to the Baltimore shortstop.
Yeah, this is a rarity, and also, you know, made possible. Look how quickly it got out to him. It's made possible because Steven Souza Jr., like Evan Longoria earlier, got out of the box and was running hard the entire way. A ton of effort, or Hardy's going to be able to recover and get him. I wonder if he doesn't like that very much.
See him grabbing that left hamstring a little bit there for a moment. Let's hope it's not that.
Well, no one headed out. Usually Porterfield, Harker, Vincent, somebody's coming out there.
Strike 1 to Richie Schaefer.
Paul Harker right there looking out there saying Souza Jr. being Souza Jr. He'll be fine.
Back in, a step off. Schaefer's homered and grounded out to short. Pops it up, foul, out of play. Schaefer playing first base tonight. And the Rays had him up in a couple of stints last year. He played both first and third, made a start in left field. Also utilized in the DH role. Alexi Ramirez on deck. Schaefer is out on strikes.
I'll tell you that the finish on that split, that has been good for Jimenez all night long. You see right there the grip. Look at this thing just take off down and in. He has gotten a number of swings and misses and strikeouts on that pitch right there.
Eight strikeouts in the game for Jimenez. Pitch is low to Alexi Ramirez. Boston leading New York 3-2 in the middle of the 5th inning at Fenway. The top of the 7th here. That's a strike taken. Indians at home leading the Tigers 4-1. Middle of the 5th.
All these games, all of these games you can pay attention to. It means something. They matter.
There's behind 1-2. Ground ball, that's going to shoot through into right field. Souza stops at second. 2 men on, 1 out in the Rays' 7th.
Trying to make that air hurt, and Ramirez does a nice job of finding a hole on the right side. Jonathan Schoop shading a little bit up the middle. He hits a ground ball, you know, traditionally right to where second baseman would normally play. Not in this day and age.
So with runners on first base and second base, 1 out, here's Bobby Wilson. He was called out on strikes in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 5th. Takes the fastball a little close. A ball, no strikes. Ground ball, 3rd. Machado, Schoop 1, plenty of time over to first. 5-4-3 on the double play. Top of the 7th over. Rays lead 4-2. Seventh inning, Chris Archer a little over 90 pitches through the front 6. 4 strikeouts and a walk, and a double play ball in the first to get out of a spot. Touch for a home run in the 2nd. Chris Davis homered off him in the 4th, and he retired the side 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. Picking up a couple strikeouts in the process. So you see the line on him. 91 pitches, 5 hits, a couple runs, and a 4-2 lead as he prepares to work to the Orioles in the bottom of the 7th inning. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Matt Andrees on the hill. We'll hear from the Rays right-hander, and Orestes Estrada will break down Adam Jones and his aggressive approach at the plate. Jones 1 for 3 tonight. Be with you at 6:30 for the third game of this series. And Andres against Chris Tillman. Mikey Matuk takes over in left field. Miller's starting out there, and Brad now goes to first. Matt Wieters will lead off the bottom of the 7th inning. Pitch is a strike call. Ground ball to first, and Miller will make the play unassisted. So the leadoff man retired. He's done that in 5 of the 7 innings. Danny Farquhar is up in the bullpen for the Rays. Baltimore also with some action in their bullpen. Brad Brock is up for the Orioles. Here's J.J. Hardy. Hardy singled in the 2nd inning. 1 for 2 tonight. Came into the game 6 of 20 against Archer. There's a 1-3 in a row to go even so far on this road trip. They're 4-4.
Now, what a turnaround for this team.
Ground ball. Alexi Ramirez cannot get much on the throw. And Hardy has an infield hit. Ramirez ranging far to his left. Really not in a position to make the throw.
Well, the way that the Rays were defensing him, he splits. Right? You see Logan, you see Ramirez right in the middle of him. And not hit overly hard, and Ramirez gets there and just he just never came up with that ball clean. I don't know if it would have mattered anyway. He had to go a long way, and Hardy hustling up the line, able to beat it out.
And I think part of the reason that he didn't make much of a throw, he's trying to get rid of it as quickly as he could, because he knew if he had any shot at all, he had to unload it quickly. Michael Bourne takes a pitch for a ball. He struck out, tried to bunt his way on, and was thrown out by Longoria. On the play, now 1-1. Fired from Arizona by Baltimore. And 2-1. Pitches. This one will be number 100 coming for Archer. Ground ball, right side, base hit. Up to second goes Hardy. Well, the 8 and 9 hitters are on to the top of the order now.
And Michael Bourne doing a nice job there, not over swinging. You got a 2-1 count to work with. He gets a breaking ball, gets the slider, and he just watch him just pull this thing over there. Okay, go out, roll right over it. You've got some room to work with over there, and he's able to spit that thing out into right field to end Chris Archer's night.
Kevin Cash coming to get Archer, who departs with a 2-run lead and 2 men on. Fox Sports Sun brought to you by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. By Kubota. For more information, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Orioles with 1 out have put 2 men on, and that's the end of the evening for Chris Archer. As he departs, if he's going to be a part of this game in the decision department, it will only be as a winner. Braves are up by 2. The 2 men on accountable to him. And Danny Farquhar is the new pitcher, making his 29th appearance.
30 innings of work, 38 strikeouts. Opponents average at 246, and I'll tell you, his changeup has really come around as the season has gone on. Danny Farquhar with a swing and miss type changeup, and it's been very, very good. May play well here as the Orioles start with the top of their order.
Came on in the 8th inning last night, got 3 ground balls, and he hits Adam Jones with the first pitch. So that loads the bases.
And that may have been a changeup right there that just got away from him.
I think it was.
Yep, that ball came right off the fingers. There you go. Just takes off up and in, tracking in, and nothing Adam Jones could do. Well,
they got Jones and Wilson on the rebound.
yeah.
And the bases are loaded. And Soo Kim, bases loaded, 1 out. Shot to center field. Kiermaier's going to go all the way to the wall, and that ball off his glove. 1 run will score, and the bases are still going to be loaded. Kiermaier prevented that ball from going out. That was going to be a grand slam, and Kiermaier went back over the wall, got a glove on it, and kept it in the ballpark. It's still a Rays lead. Kiermaier still thinking to himself that he should have caught it.
It was in the glove, and that's exactly what he's going to be lamenting. Now, if he doesn't get back there, like you said, it's a grand slam. Watch how close this was, the time of the leap. That ball, a snow cone, and when he came into contact with the wall, it jarred the ball loose. You'll see it right here, a great view. At the tip, get hit by the wall, and out it comes.
Kim teed off. Kiermaier took off and robbed him of a grand slam. That might be the longest single we've ever seen.
Without a doubt.
Hardy scored, Bourne to third. Jones to second and Kim's at first. It's still a Rays lead 4-3. Bases loaded, and here's Machado. Pitch outside.
Well, Danny Farquhar, you got a ways to go in this at bat. Needs a ground ball badly. This crowd now on its feet, getting loud in here.
2-0. Boy, the attempt by Kiermaier, just unbelievable. Tough to hang on. The ball jarred loose. But what an effort by Kiermaier. Cut and a miss, 2-1.
Well, this right here, too, the backdrop of maybe his greatest catch that we've ever seen. That was off Manny Machado a year ago. Same part of the wall. Almost did it again.
Cutting a foul ball back on the fastball.
Well, now you bring that changeup back in play. And we'll see if Danny Farquhar goes with it. It's been a strikeout changeup, and now that you've worked yourself to 2 strikes, that's what you need.
2-2. And a tapper foul. He came back with it. Machado stays alive.
Yeah, and you've got to credit Machado there. That's the type of changeup that guys have been swinging and missing at. Picking up strikeouts, but he's able to just get down and get enough of it to see another pitch.
There's a shot deep down the left side. That's going to be a foul ball. Machado pulling it foul. Garten up in the bullpen. Dana Evelyn, the lefty. Two again. And a ground ball toward the Rays dugout. Look out, fellas.
How did he get to that one? As soon as he started his swing, I'm thinking strike 3. I don't know how he was able to get to that pitch and foul it off.
Time granted by Adrian Johnson. Bases loaded. And a cut and a miss. He gets Machado. Big out there. 2 gone.
That was the changeup. He stuck with it. And finally, enough at the end to get him.
So after a hit batter and what could have been a grand slam turned into a single by Kevin Kiermaier. It's a 1-run game, bases loaded, 2 outs, and here is Chris Davis. He's out in front. Over the change for a strike.
You know, and I think that with Chris Davis right here, and as good as the changeup has been for Farquhar, if you're going to throw him a fastball, it's a show-me fastball. It's nowhere near the plate. And put him away with that changeup.
Covered up by Wilson. Changeup again.
Well, you've got to have trust in your catcher. Yeah, that's a pitch when it's thrown properly by Farquhar, ends up right down close to the dirt. Sometimes you'll get the bounce like that. You've got to trust your catcher to be able to block it.
Yeah, and a great instinctive base runner and Bourne down at third. 1-1. 2 balls and a strike, and Wilson in front of that pitch.
Yeah, and you've got to smother it. That's what he does. Anticipate it. Now go get it. Get the body there. Everything around it.
Two-1. Foul back. Fastball that time
That was the pitch. That's what Chris Davis is saying to himself. I just got my pitch. I just got a fastball down and out over the plate where I could, drop the barrel on it and drive it, and he missed it.
And a foul ball to the base of the stands. Bourne third, Jones second, Kim at first. 1-run game. 2-2 the count to Davis. And he just got a piece of that one, tapping it foul. Count still 2-2.
He continues to execute that pitch. You see these swings of Davis. He's not going to do much more than be able to roll it over and dribble it. The key is you've got to keep making that pitch down in the zone. Farquhar's been good so far.
And he pops this one up, went back to the fastball up a bit.
Back and forth we go.
7 pitches into this at bat with a 2-2 count. Just coming off the fastball up. And he got him back down and strikes him out. Orioles leave the bases loaded. They score 1. And what a save by Kiermaier in center field. 4-3 Tampa Bay. Lead. They get out of the bottom of the 7th inning. And what could have been a grand slam, except for Kevin Kiermaier.
And then this right here could be the difference in the game. And right now is the difference in the game. That ball was gone. That ball was gone by a margin. And Kiermaier unhappy with himself for not coming up with the catch. However, instead of 4 runs right there for the Orioles, they scored 1. And still left the Rays with a lead. Farquhar took it from there, but saving the day, the Rays center fielder. Could have given up 4, gave up 1, so Dwayne, we've given him a +3 on the defensive runs saved, I think, which pushes him now in front of Kevin Pillar.
Yeah, I think it's only makes sense. That's from the common sense analysis of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they come up with defensive runs saved, but that seems pretty cut and dry to me.
Yep. Here's Forsythe against Brad Brockett. He takes a strike with Kiermaier due to hit second in the inning, and then Longoria. Rays scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and nothing since. 1-1 to count. One. Slow. 2 balls and a strike. So Brock's out there. Jimenez made 92 pitches tonight, 7 innings. Gave up 4 runs, 7 hits, didn't walk anybody, and struck out 8. The Rays got him for 2 early home runs. Two the count on Forsythe.
Well, he settled in nicely, and key for him not walking anybody. That seems to be a trouble spot for him. Runs early in the game, a trouble spot. That definitely the Rays were able to capitalize on that, but this has turned into a tight barn burner type of game,
As did last night.
Yeah.
The Rays hung on and won that game 7-6. Trying to duplicate that tonight in what is a 4-3 ball game right now. Ground ball by the mound. Hardy at short. Throws a strike to Davis. That gives Forsythe 1 for 4 tonight. And it will get Kevin Kiermaier up there. Boy, Kiermaier, a big part of this game, leading to the Rays' first run when he hit that chopper in the first over the head of Davis, and he turned that into a double. Scored on the Longoria home run. Ground ball first, scooped by Davis, and makes the play unassisted.
I'll tell you what, Chris Davis, his defense in this series has been pretty good, showing some quick hands, soft hands. Made a nice diving play last night's ball game.
Well, there's some metrics that make a strong case for him being one of the top fielding first baseman in the game.
And he's a guy that doesn't come to mind. You know, you don't think about him in that light, but you see those metrics and then you watch what he's done in this series and you say, well, okay, pretty good to me.
Longoria taking a strike.
I think there's only room for most players to have one thing thought about them. You bring their name up. You bring up Chris Davis, you think bombs.
Yep.
You just think homers. You're not thinking defense.
0-2. Evan is 2 for 3 tonight. 2-run homer in the first. He was caught stealing in the 6th. That's one thing Evan does not have yet this year. He's had a great year, but he's nothing of 3 in the steal department. Brad Boxberger in the Rays bullpen. Liner into left. There's a base hit. It takes a hop a little bit back to the left. Kim out there makes the pickup. A 3-hit night now for Longoria. That will get Brad Miller up. The foul out of play. Headed to Hardy at short. His throw to first in time. A hit. No runs. A man left. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 4-3 Rays. Half of the 8th inning, the Roberto Clemente Award has a nominee from each major league team representing the game of baseball through extraordinary character, community involvement, philanthropy, and positive contributions. The Rays nominates Chris Archer. You can vote on social media. Use hashtag #VoteArcher on Twitter and Facebook to vote for him. That's hashtag #VoteArcher on Twitter or Facebook. Pitcher number 3 for the Rays, Brad Boxberger, makes his 21st appearance. A credit for the win last night. Jonathan Scope leads off the bottom of the 8th. This pitch a little high. 1 ball, no strikes. Popped up. It's a foul ball on a play. Michael Givens loosening in the bullpen for Baltimore. High shot deep down the left field line. Will it be fair? That's a foul ball. Home run distance. Fortunately for the Rays, foul.
And it didn't look by much.
There's the flight.
Yeah, clearly. Mikey Mato helping out down there.
And a casual call. No problem. 2-2 the count. Goes off. That's ball 3, just missing. Tough pitch to take right there.
Yeah, and you know what the thing was is Bobby Wilson wanted that ball up. They wanted to elevate the heater there. That ball was yanked a little bit. And still, I think you take that because you know you can't hit it. You're just begging for it to be a ball.
Another one out there for ball 4.
You know, early in the game, that was a strike. We saw, I can't remember who it was now, get rung up on a very similar pitch. 2 in a row there. Scope lays off. The call's not made. Down just a hair.
Well, here is Pedro Alvarez now. 1 for 3. His hit a home run. His 21st of the year came in the 2nd inning of this game. 1 ball, no strikes. Archer worked 6 1/3. Farquhar 2/3. Scope aboard. The lead off the 8th. Fastball missed. 2-0, and Wilson heads to the mound.
Yeah, a little trouble finding the strike zone here. And so Bobby Wilson out there, a little encouragement for Brad Boxberger.
This is still Archer's game to win. Both starting pitchers still figure in the decision of this game. 2-0. All 3 away. 3-0. It's Matt Wieters on deck. There's ball 4. Couple of walks here to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Wieters will get to the plate. Grace pitching had walked 1 hitter all night until now.
And those misses by Boxberger were not really close. So Jim Hickey out there now to talk about it, you know, and remind Brad Boxberger here, listen, you got good enough action on your pitches. You're 1 away from getting a ground ball double play here, which is what the Rays desperately need.
Nolan Reimold off the bench to run for Alvarez. Reimold represents the potential lead run. Wieters 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. There's one official at bat against Boxberger, 0 for 1 against him. Lays off the first pitch down.
Is that 7? At least 7 balls in a row.
Yeah, he walked Alvarez on 4 straight. Missed on the last couple to Scope. And there's a strike. 1-1. Archer, Farquhar, and now Boxberger. Has him out in front over the change. A ball, 2 strikes.
Beautiful change of speed right there. Run it up.
And it nips him. Just got him. Up and in too much. And the bases are loaded.
That was another one. You know, both of the balls that Bobby Wilson, the fastballs he wanted up middle of the plate, have been yanked by Boxberger. Look at, he's setting up there for an up and in to try to punch out Wieters, and he yanks it right over off the elbow. And now you're in some trouble. J.J. Hardy, you know, he's got that flat swing. He keeps the bat in the zone for a long, long time. Good situational hitter.
So Garten up in the bullpen.
And the Rays playing that defense back. They're conceding that tying run, looking for the double play instead, if possible.
And a strike call to Hardy, who's 0 for 7 in his career against Boxberger. Ground ball toward the hole. No play anywhere. The tying run scores. Ramirez got to the ball off balance. Could not make a play anywhere. And it's a 4-4 game.
Now you're going to see that infield come in. Nothing that Alexi could have done there. That ball rolled over in the hole. You see where he's at. It's rolled over. Gets a good break on it, able to get that backhand, and he's looking right there to make a play to Evan Longoria at third base, and just not able to get that ball out. That would have been tough anyway.
Michael Bourne lifts a fly ball into left. Matuk trying to get into throwing position. Reimold heads to the plate. The throw cut off, and the Orioles take a 5-4 lead.
And where that becomes so big, and this crowd obviously going crazy now, it's Zach Britton. He'll start warming up here for the 9th inning. Mikey Matuk out there in left field trying to put himself in a position to make the throw, and just not able to do it.
Well, those 2 leadoff walks have been converted into the tying and the go-ahead runs. And Zach Britton warms up all alone now in the bullpen. One gone, now the top of the order. Adam Jones up there. Full foul through the coaching box. The Orioles have scored 2 runs on 1 hit, and that did not leave the infield. But it got a run home, and the sacrifice fly got a run home. 2 runs in, 2 men on, 1 out. And the count is 1-1 on Adam Jones. Five-4 ball game. It's fouled out of play. You know, if you look up and down this lineup against Boxberger, who features the changeup, not a lot of success against him, because this, by and large, is an aggressive lineup. What got him into trouble, the walks and the hit batter.
Yeah, the 2 walks, the hit batter with 2 strikes. Self-inflicted.
I mean, you look at Bourne 0 for 4, Davis 0 for 5, Hardy 0 for 7, Jones 0 for 5. Now the count is 2-2 to Jones. A lot of 0-fers in this lineup against Boxberger. They start walking people, and that has cost the Rays tonight. Out of play. Count holds at 2-2. Weeder's on second. Hardy's at first. And a foul ball again.
What a battle. Adam Jones, they're trying to add on. Of course, Brad Boxberger wants to keep it right there. The Rays give him a puncher's chance.
Two again. Count is full. Blocked by Wilson. Boston leading New York at Fenway in the top of the 7th, 5-2. Baltimore taking a 5-4 lead here. That's a pop-up foul. Miller coming down from first makes the catch. Jones retired for the 2nd out. 9-pitch battle to finally get the Baltimore center fielder. Kim due up. Kevin Cash coming out of the dugout here for the Rays. So Boxberger will depart. We'll be back in a moment. Bottom of the 8th inning coming up on Rays Live postgame, presented by Checkers. We'll be along to anchor the coverage from the booth. We'll hear from the Rays manager Kevin Cash. Player reaction from the clubhouse. This 8th inning a big part of the evening. Ryan Garten takes over. 6 1/3 for Archer, who's out of the game now. Not only physically, but in terms of a decision. Farquhar worked 2/3, Boxberger 2/3. He's the pitcher of record right now, along with Brad Brock. And now Garten to face Hyun-Soo Kim. Kim made a bid for a grand slam in the 7th, denied that by Kiermaier. Settled for an RBI and a single. First pitch, a breaking ball, misses. Zach Britton readying in the bullpen for Baltimore. Pop foul, that will carry out a play. 1-1.
Well, the way it lines up for the Rays, you've got Dickerson leading off, Souza Jr. And 2 of the hotter Rays. You wonder if Kevin Cash going to stick with Corey Dickerson. That's a tough matchup. We shall see. Britton's been perfect. First things first, got to get there.
One and two now. Hardy at first, Wieters on second. Two and two. Went ahead, tried the breaking ball. Machado on deck. Up the right field line, that's going to be foul.
Boy, that was a rocket. That ball bounces right back to Souza Jr. out there in right. Hyun-Soo Kim bailing just a little bit. That fastball in, and he took it with him right down the line.
Two. Bounce foul, and Wayne Kirby comes up with it. Showing some good hands down there. The first base coach for Baltimore. Hamstring tightening up on him after making that play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 call. He got him looking on the fastball in. 8th inning over, but the Orioles take the lead. We'll see Britton in the 9th. worked the 9th inning. There are those who have touted him as a potential Cy Young candidate, and he has been perfect out of the bullpen closing games for Baltimore. You can look at some of the candidates. The others all starters. Rick Porcello's had a great year. Aaron Sanchez, Cole Hamels, Corey Kluber, and then Britton, 43 of 43 with a 0.83 earned run average.
Opponent's average of 150. He has been absolutely, well, in the save department, perfect. And he combines velocity and sink like no other pitcher in the game.
Corey Dickerson leads off against him. The pitch is down. Dickerson 0 for 3 tonight. Souza to follow, and Montook due to hit third. Ground ball right side. Davis makes the play unassisted.
You know, Dwayne, you and I, we talk about ground ball percentage, you know, for starters, and they get ground ball in a double play and all these different things. The ground ball percentage for Zach Britton this season, 80.6. He's given up 10 fly balls this year. Yep. We're in September, middle of September. 10 fly balls.
Well, that's why they'll consider him for the Cy Young Award. Some say, well, the innings pitched not high enough. No, forget that. Look at what's just happened here. Look at the results. Souza Jr. fouls it back. Strike one. Souza scored one of the Rays runs on the Schaefer home run in the second. 1-1. Michael Bourne's now in left, moving over from right. Drew Stubbs has entered the game in right, so they have Bourne left, Jones center, and Stubbs in right defensively. Everything else remains the same. Foul out of play. Advancing the count to a ball, 2 strikes. Take down, 2-2.
You throw a pitch in there, get a strike, and then try to work a little bit further down. Gets a lot of guys to chase that pitch. A little tougher to do here with 2 strikes, but you're trying to see a little bit of elevation with one of those pitches.
This one is foul. Souza 0 for 4 in his career against Britton. Now the Rays hitters, Longoria is 5 for 19 against him. That's really something. Ramirez 4 for 12, and Miller's 2 for 3.
You'd love to see that pitch again. That one was up, it stayed flat, and it was fouled off. Watch this.
2-2. And there's ball 3. Ground ball back of third, foul. A full count here. And Souza battling Britton. Ground ball, foul again. This one outside third.
I'll tell you, Souza Jr. has seen enough of these pitches. You know, one that's, if he can stay disciplined, take the one that's going to be down, get yourself on base, or if he leaves another one up, you got a chance here to pop one pretty good.
And a foul ball again.
He is battling well.
10 pitches in. And a fly ball back into left. Bourne will have to go to the track for it, and he's going to make the catch. Had a step and a half left before he got to the wall. How about that for Souza? A 10-pitch at bat on pitch number 11 gave the Rays hope for just a split second.
He had battled. He's seen a lot of pitches. You're looking for one up in the zone. You know he's got the power to be able to get it out of here. And boy, off the bat, did that look good. Well, I guess he's given up 11 fly balls now this year.
Here's Mikey Montook. Montook entered the game and left in the 7th. Ground ball hits the bag at second. Montook's aboard. He'll make the turn, but hang on. Got it by the mound, and it hit the bag, deflecting out into center field. And on that base hit, the Rays stay alive, and they will get Alexi Ramirez to the plate.
Now this ball gets up the middle, gets by Britton, and I think, even if that ball is going to be fielded by Scope, and I don't know, I'm not sure that it would have been. I don't think they're going to have a play on Montook. But he catches a no-doubter break as that ball hits the bag, and the Rays keep this inning alive.
Well, here is Alexi Ramirez, and as we mentioned earlier, he's 4 for 12 in his career against Britton. How about that?
Those are the numbers that jump off the page at you.
He's the guy to have up there.
He's got 4 hits.
1 for 3 tonight. The pitch is down. 1-0. Veteran shortstop. Tapper foul. Ramirez had a big hit in the Toronto series when he belted a 3-run home run on Marcus Stroman. The Rays went on to win that game 6-2. They're down to their final out against Zach Britton tonight. Ground ball, third base side, foul. Machado making the play, but it's a foul ball. And the count goes to 1-2. Baltimore scored 2 runs, taking advantage of a couple of walks and a hit batter. Then an infield hit and a sacrifice fly. All in the bottom of the 8th to take a 5-4 lead. Two and two. Britton got the first out quickly. 2 pitches and a ground ball to first. Souza put up an 11-pitch at bat, hit one to the warning track just in front of the wall to the left. And Mata got the base hit. 2-2 to Alexi Ramirez. Into the dirt, and the count is full. Hopping on that one, Wieters quickly.
Well, that gets Matsuk in motion. You start having dreams of a ball into the gap. And the Rays got a chance to score him here.
A full count. Here we go. And a liner, base hit up the left field line. Montuk's going to hit third. Montoya's going to wave him around. He is out at the plate, and this game ends. Montuk trying to score on the double up the left field line. Braves trying to take advantage perhaps of Michael Bourd's arm out there. And Montoya rolled the dice. And the Orioles win this game on a play at the plate to end it.
And I think that Kevin Cash wants him to take a look at it.
Yep.
But that was what, hey, listen, full count, he's in motion. Not in the gap, but down the line. You got to take your chance here. I like the call by Montoya. And here it is. It's going to take 2 perfect throws. And it looks like that's exactly what happened. Bourne